Now you're going to hear from Mark Paratore, is that the way you pronounce Paratore? Kind of what the city of Scottsdale is doing and what they see with their planning department that's going forward. So, Mark, you take it away and let us know what's going on. I can't wait for this. You have this or that? Okay.
All right. Everybody hear me? We're good? All right, so who in this room thinks they're an ambassador for economic development? Raise your hand. Really? That's it? All right, well, hopefully at the end of this presentation, you all raise your hand, because without the hard work that you guys do every single day within the community, that allows us and gives us the platform to go out there and work with companies that are creating the jobs, to work with businesses that are investing here, and to really make Scottsdale, the greater Phoenix area, a place that not only people can live, work, but also thrive and grow their business, grow their family, and really have a great quality of life. Just want to thank Jim real quick and the entire team here for giving us the opportunity to kind of tell the story a little bit more about economic development in Scottsdale, and my esteemed colleagues that presented before me, as well as Colette, who's going to present after me. You know, the information that they presented, I think the consistency and the theme there is it really does take collaboration, and it really takes everybody's kind of hard work and the vision that, you know, forefathers and those that have really set before us. So hopefully with this presentation, you will take away that you are an ambassador for economic development, and the work that you're doing in the community truly does matter. So I'm going to give an overview on some of the achievements from our department over the last fiscal year, provide a development activity in Old Town and Southern Scottsdale. I know downtown Scottsdale has been rebranded as Old Town Scottsdale, so we refer to that as Old Town. It's kind of like the new Old Town, I guess, area. And then Southern Scottsdale, which, you know, really is anything south of Thomas. We could call that the McDowell Road Corridor, or the Los Arcos redevelopment plan, as it was always kind of coined. But Southern Scottsdale we'll call that. And then some of the resources that are available to you all that help us kind of further our economic development missions and goals. I don't know if you knew this, but we get 9 million tourists a year. 88% of those tourists touch downtown, Old Town, or Southern Scottsdale in some way, shape, or form. So that could be coming to an event here at Skysong, to going to a spring training game, to checking out the museums, maybe even staying at one of our hotels, but going to an event over at Salt River Pima Indian Community in the Entertainment District, doing something over at ASU, or just wherever they are in the Valley. Our department helped facilitate 12 unique business locates to the community over the last year. Those companies created nearly 1,900 jobs, representing an average salary of just under $60,000. It really is our charter and mission to encourage high growth business attraction to the community. And we do that with working with all of our great partners and resources, like the folks at the Greater Phoenix Economic Council to the Arizona Commerce Authority that's run out of the governor's office. While business attraction is kind of the front page story, or something that's a bit more forward facing, business retention and expansion is probably one of the most critical elements to successful economic development. While it's great to attract new companies here, you want to make sure you're also retaining those jobs within the community, and those companies are growing and expanding. So our department facilitated 107 direct business outreach visits to our companies that are here. We like to meet with some of our top employers as well as new businesses. So those 107 are not businesses that we met with last year. Those are net new businesses that we're identifying through various sources to understand what they're doing, what their growth strategy is, and how the city can put together better support programs and initiatives so that they could be successful and really thrive in the community. We also launched a new job board on our website, a little different of an approach from an economic development perspective, but thinking that talent is really driving the site selection decision. So it's no longer about necessarily where a CEO wants to live, or what may be the coolest place, but if you can't hire the right type of talent, like I said, it does not matter where you're located. So this job board really is to put an emphasis on talent attraction, and it's a way to help augment some of the recruitment efforts that a lot of the companies are already doing, and a way for us when we go into other markets, whether that's San Francisco, New York, Chicago, or LA, and we're talking to prospective talent that could be affiliated some way, shape, or form as an alum through ASU, or at an event that we're at, we could then identify what companies within our own community are actually hiring for the type of skill sets that they're looking for as a way to build their career professionally. So we've got over 300 jobs that are live on that site, and we've had nearly 1,600 unique job views since that's been launched in April. Every week we feature a new company as well as a new job. So if you're a Scottsdale-based business, that's kind of the catch. You have to be a business based in Scottsdale in order to have those jobs posted on the website. We also do a lot of events, and that could be events that we participate in, like the one today, or ones that we actually put on, like our Mayor and Council Breakfast on Economic Development, as well as the Scottsdale Care Corridor event. But we did 19 unique events and programs last year, which reached nearly 1,500 or so attendees, which we think is pretty good. This just gives us the ability to engage further with those participants and really talk about what it is we do every single day and how they can take away some tidbits of information and truly be an ambassador for those economic development initiatives. And finally, one of the larger undertakings was enhancing our key employment centers. And I'm going to just direct this to one of the projects that our department worked on over the last couple of years. As Aaron mentioned, a lot of the projects we work on, if there's a release about it, that didn't just happen last week, but those are projects that could be in the pipeline for 5 years, 10 years, 3 years. The timeline kind of changes a little bit, but one of the big achievements over the last year was the state land at the Loop 101 up in North Scottsdale. That Nationwide Insurance was the opportune bidder on for 134 acres to expand their corporate headquarter campus here in Scottsdale, which is a great win. So those jobs that they retained, a little over 1,300, as well as the net new jobs that they will be creating because of a corporate headquarters that will now be staying here in Scottsdale. So, since the 2015 approval of our Economic Development Strategic Plan, here's some of kind of the takeaways of 5-year direct economic impacts on the projects that we had participation in. So this does not include those that come to Scottsdale that we don't touch. These are only ones that we're tracking through our department. There's been a little under 3,200 jobs since the adoption of our strategic plan in 2015 that have been created within the 12 months of operation for the companies that have located here, as well as 362 business retention visits. So if you peel that away and you're thinking in the terms of if you're meeting with 100 or so businesses over a 5-year period, we would love to get to that 500 number. So we're definitely on track as far as where we're at within the strategy. A little bit more on commercial vacancy trends. So we track that through CoStar, which Gina, I see you in the audience. A little plug for CoStar. Thanks for being here. These numbers we track on a quarterly basis as well on an annual basis is just a better way for us to see where we stack up historically, as well as where we stack up to the greater Phoenix area and some of our neighboring communities. So citywide, there's a 13% vacancy rate for office, a 6.8 vacancy rate for retail, and a 4.9 vacancy rate for industrial. The majority of industrial product is going to be in and around the Scottsdale Air Park area. Retail has historically always been rather low here in Scottsdale, and the office, we feel is at a very kind of healthy area as well. With typically under 10%, you're looking for a lot of ground-up new construction happening, so we're encouraged by those numbers to fill some existing space, as well as to have some new construction in the pipeline. I'm not going to talk about all of these company announcements, but here's some of the notable announcements that our department worked closely with these employers on. As I alluded to, attraction is great, but the retention and expansion is really critical for us to not only grow and evolve as a community, but also for a region, and making sure that corporate headquarters know that Arizona, the region, Scottsdale is a great place to expand their business. As far as talent goes, these are just some of the numbers that are tracked since 2015. I think this is just a sign of the types of high-wage occupations that we're looking to attract in the industries of which we're looking to attract those in. So we focus a lot on finance and insurance, information communication technology, as well as healthcare and bio-life science. We don't do that because we think it's cool. We do that because there's already a great historical kind of cluster of those industries here in Scottsdale, as well as when we're talking about economic development and industry trends. Those are also 3 industries, as well as the occupations associated with those industries, that are growing as well, and those were identified in our strategic planning process. So you're seeing a pretty large increase, nearly 20% across all 3 of those industries, which I think is just a continued, a continuation of good things to come, moving forward. When I talked to Jim, I had to give him a little bit of a understanding that while our economic development team works on a lot of projects, our planning and development services team typically might be the first one when it deals with a lot of mixed-use development that might not have any office associated to it, as well as some of the residential and hospitality, being built here in Scottsdale. So these maps actually are a snippet from an interactive map that would be available to you all on our planning and development services website. So this will track all of the zoning cases, development reviews, and kind of where those projects are in the process. So it's a great tool for you all just to kind of see where that's at if you did have a question. But if not, feel free to pick up the phone, give myself a call, and I'll point you in the right direction. So first, I'm just going to give a little bit of an overview on some of the projects in the Old Town area. By all means, this is not every single project. While Jim did give me the floor for 45 minutes, we'd be here for 4 to 5 hours talking about all of those projects. So I just wanted to kind of give an overview, but if you had any further questions, we can always go through that. One of the projects, which is Winfield Hotel and Residences at the northwest corner of Winfield, Scott, and 3rd Avenue. That will be for 244 hotel rooms and 26 residences, and that's currently going through DR, which is design review. So those projects for new construction go through design review board to talk about things and how they work through kind of the character area plan for the different parts of Scottsdale. There's also the Canopy by Hilton, which will be 176 rooms, limited service, and that's through the first review of design review. The majority of these hotels are going to be kind of on the limited service, just given the size and scope of the parcels and the height requirements for these projects to really work out. It's interesting, as Todd alluded to, the fact that a lot of these hotels really being part of mixed-use components in the ways that they don't have to build out a large conference or event center because they could walk across the street, or for this matter here in Scottsdale at Skysong, you could still be on the same parcel and have an event kind of meeting space. So the developer doesn't have to really go through that process. This project is on the northeast corner of Marshall Way and First Street. You have the former, well, it's still Don and Charlie's, but the former Don and Charlie's site at 7501 East Camelback Road, which would be planned for about 181 rooms, limited service, and they're still going through zoning. So that case, I think, is going to be heard rather soon. The Marquee, which is an office building. So when you're talking about economic development, we love a project like this. This would be one of the first office buildings to be developed or proposed for development in a rather long time, and we are in dire need of this type of product. We have around a 7% vacancy rate for office space within Old Town or downtown Scottsdale. So when we are working with large, employers and tenants, because space is rather limited, it's really hard for us if they want to be in, an urban walkability type of area. So this project, when it is constructed, will be a great opportunity for us to further attract the right types of users. At total build-out, it'll be just under 205,000 square feet of Class A office. And that's just north of the Scottsdale Galleria, so the former shopping mall that was converted into kind of a tech hub, which is pretty much 100% occupied. We have the Waterview Edition Hotel and Residence, which will be just to the north of the W Hotel, encompassing Camelback Road and 73rd Street, right there along the canal. That would be for 230 rooms and 240 residential multifamily units as part of a phased type of development. The zoning's been approved, and they're currently going through design review as well. This one you may have heard or read about, which is the Museum Square. It is really kind of at the entryway of Old Town Scottsdale, off of Drinkwater, north of Osborne. It's for 7.3 acres of mixed-use development with a PBD overlay district, 150 height with 190 rooms and 300 residential units, with some limited, conference space, but 8,000 is pretty large for a hotel of that size. And that really plays into the development of the Museum of the West and really creating kind of that arts and culture type of synergy in that quadrant of Old Town Scottsdale. And some of the elements that were identified in our Downtown 2.0 strategy, which was spearheaded by our Tourism and Events Department. Here's just some other notable ones. Like I said, I didn't have the ability to include all of them, but Fashion Square Mall continues to grow and expand. They're currently working on the renovation of what they're calling the Lux Wing, which is rather impressive, towards the Goldwater area where Ocean 44 is building a brand new, really high-end restaurant, as well as some new tenants that they've announced. But also, the mixed-use portion is south of Highland, and that is kind of ripe for their next phase of development and creating, I know we sometimes use, live, work, and play as like that buzzword, but that 24/7 type of environment where somebody can stay at a hotel, walk to the mall, or even employers can be at the mall. So we were fortunate enough to work with a company called Industrious, and Industrious just signed a lease in partnership with Macerich to create a co-working space right at Fashion Square Mall in the former Barney space. And then the other portion of the Barney space, I think you all know what's going in there. It's probably no surprise by now, but that should be open rather soon. The Goldwater, which is at Goldwater and 70th Street, is currently going through rezoning to allow for the development of a 6th-floor mixed-use development, including residential, office, and some portion of restaurant. And then the Main Street mixed use right at Main Street and Marshall Way, also rezoning to allow for a 3-story development, including some retail and residences. Going more into the southern Scottsdale area where we are standing today, as I mentioned, this type of geography is through our interactive map, so you can kind of go on and see it in real time as well. Scottsdale Entrada, which if anybody's coming from the west part of Greater Phoenix, it really is at the epicenter of 3 communities with Phoenix, Tempe, and Scottsdale. So Bill Pope, who owns that property at the northeast corner of 64th and McDowell, they're approved for a 27-acre mixed-use development with some apartments, office, retail, and possibly hospitality. So we're encouraged for that to hopefully take shape in the near future. As that really creates, when you talk the magnitude of that, I think we're sitting on 32 acres, and that's 27. So you can kind of see how that really becomes a catalyst for those areas. Amazing views of Camelback, and it really, like I said, is at the epicenter from people that live in those various communities, as well as those that may be coming off the 101. It's about 3 miles or so. So it's definitely well positioned and centrally located for that matter. We also have the Mark Mitsubishi site, currently going through a rezone from C3 to PUD on 3 acre, which would include 267 residential units and some retail space. The Chapman BMW site, which I think they're calling the McDowell, but I'll call it the Chapman BMW site. That's at 6601 East McDowell Road, about 12.3 acres of mixed-use development, residential units, 358 of those, as well as some flex office at about 7,000 square feet. North 70, this is approved for a 65 lot subdivision just to the south of us here off of Continental Drive and Scottsdale Road, right in kind of the residential neighborhood. And then Papago Plaza, just to the west of us here, right on the hard corner of Scottsdale and McDowell Road. We're encouraged by the potential of a redevelopment of that location. Like I said, with the synergy between Skysong, potentially what can be developed over at the Scottsdale Entrada, an anchor in groups like General Dynamics and all the work that's being done on the Salt River Pima Indian community. This truly is an opportunity to capture that collective audience and that group, and making it so that it continues to be a service destination for all of the rooftops that are already here, as well as all the ones that are planned. I think Arvel kind of went over, since 2010 to 2018, there's been about over 3,000 or so units. So how do you keep up with demand, but also making sure that you're building the right type of product to support the existing infrastructure that's already here? Some of the other projects in Southern Scottsdale that are worth noting as well, there's one typo on this, which is Skysong 6. It's actually Skysong 5. That is under construction, as Todd alluded to, just right behind me. The Skysong Hotel, which will be 148-room hotel. Sky on McDowell, which phase 1 and 2 are currently under construction, 79 single-family units, as well as the Air on McDowell, 81 single-family units, and that's currently under construction as well. So a lot of residential, hotel, with some retail and office, being constructed both in Old Town as well as Southern Scottsdale. So some of the resources that I wanted to make sure you all knew about, because without all of this, if you don't have the right tools, we're doing ourselves a disservice from the community side of things. So there's a great interactive maps that I alluded to as well that you can all go on, and that has all the information that you need to know, all of the cases that go to City Council or any of the postings. You could truly find everything at your fingertips. It includes all the attachments and documents that are part of the proposal. So you could be downloading a package over, 100 or so megs, but it has everything that, went through as public records. So it's really helpful as you look to do your due diligence, or if you're talking to anybody that wants to know more about, investment opportunities and things like that. Our P&Z link provides current information on planning and zoning activity, so you can subscribe to the e-newsletter that our planning department sends out to stay tuned on all things that are happening. Obviously, projects that go through that process have to be properly posted and bid. So we want to make sure that you guys are all aware of that. Our planning and development services team as well is going to a lot more on the digital plan review side and submittals, just making it more efficient and effective, and also keeping up with the times of not everybody needs to review 100 sets of construction documents when it could just be viewed online as well. So it's nice to see we're keeping up with those trends. As I alluded to, the development activity maps, that's kind of the cutout of both the Old Town area, which is the Old Town Character Area Plan, as well as the McDowell Road, kind of Southern Scottsdale area. We also have a multifamily activity report that tracked from 2010 to 2016. I imagine that report would then be updated, hopefully in the near future as well. That gives you an understanding of projects that have been proposed throughout all of Scottsdale, ones at that time that were currently under construction and ones that were completed as well. And it breaks up North Scottsdale, Central Scottsdale, and Southern Scottsdale. I also wanted to just briefly touch on, I am not an expert on opportunity zones, but that is now a great opportunity and, no pun intended, and tool for you all, knowing kind of that it is a federal program. It's a tax program to help defer capital gains. So when you're talking about, I think it's the 1031 exchange, I'm not a real estate professional, but that's what I hear, of having to take those capital, or so you don't have to pay capital gains to invest that in other properties. This is a great way to do that. There are 2 zones in Scottsdale, and those are highlighted in the green. So Old Town, downtown Scottsdale is an opportunity zone. So that's a great opportunity. And then the McDowell Road, Southern Scottsdale area that we're standing in or sitting in right now is also an opportunity zone. Folks from Caliber are also in the room. I know that they will be launching a fund for opportunity zones. So there's more information that I have on that I could share with the group. It is a rather complex, or it is to me at least, kind of a complex understanding of how those investors can reinvest their capital gains and the different types of investments being held over a period of time and the benefits of that. But there's a lot of groups that are really working. I know Snell and Wilmer gave a great presentation because there are some general counsel as well as kind of the CPA and financial advisors are trying to better understand that as well. And the same for anybody who is representing a client as a way to entice additional reinvestment or redevelopment into an area. I don't want to bore you with the local programs and services that we offered, but got to make sure we give our department kind of the shameless plug here. We work with companies of all sizes and across all industries. While we have target industries that we focus on, that does not mean if there's a one-person operation, we would definitely want to talk with them. So some of the unique programs that we have is through our research and data analytics tool that we have capability of really helping from a site due diligence perspective, any PR support or maximizing the announcement of companies and projects that are coming here, and really being your concierge to help with those types of opportunities. We have great publications that are available online as well as in handout form. We provide a lot of workforce assistance, as I mentioned, our job board, allowing for interview space, new hire welcome services, and relocation materials, because we know not everybody is being hired here in Scottsdale or even in Greater Phoenix, but people can be relocating from other areas. So we want to do our best to make sure they get acclimated and understand what a community like Scottsdale and our neighboring communities really has to offer. Some of the benefits of our job board, this is kind of a screenshot of that, but we're able to then kind of create that data analytics behind that and seeing what jobs are closed, how many people applied, and those types of opportunities. Really a central location for jobs being promoted in Scottsdale to help augment some of those other large job boards or search engines. As I mentioned, it's very specific to Scottsdale, so a business has to be located within the planning boundary to be applicable to create that posting. It's rather user-friendly and pretty easy to use. That's just another kind of snippet of it. From a commercial real estate standpoint, we have a tool on our site called Scottsdale Sites. It's a public-facing site selection tool that allows you to create other GIS layers, such as household income, educational attainment level, talent and labor or workforce within that area, annual expenditures, retail tapestry reports and things like that. So it's a great tool. You can search sites and buildings, and then you could better understand what's available. So it's a partnership between GIS planning and Real Massive to have that tool up and running on our website. Finally, it takes a partnership. So just that you all know, we definitely want to make sure we're providing that type of service, and really the mission of providing exceptional service to a world-class community is definitely something we thrive to do every single day. So if you have any questions, if you want to work with us, we're more than happy to make sure that we get you as well as your clients through that process, and hopefully a seamless and painless type of experience, because we know the first phone call typically isn't going to be to your friend Mark in government, but we're hoping that we kind of change that model. So I thank you for your time. Thank you, Jim, for allowing us this platform, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. That could be the best round of applause I've ever had.
To save me 20 minutes, can you tell me what websites yield what? Because is the job board on the same as the interactive maps? Is it Choose Scottsdale? Is it Scottsdale Sites? Is it City of Scottsdale? I just went through this with Mesa yesterday. So if you can tell us, what are the websites?
Yeah, so our economic development website is choosescottsdale.com. You can find those interactive maps by going to our employment corridors, and those two employment corridors would be downtown as well as McDowell to get those. And then for all things planning and zoning related, scottsdaleaz.gov, which is the city's website, and if you type in planning or development services in the search bar, it'll take you to that. If you have any issues, feel free to contact me. And the Scottsdale Sites is also on our Choose Scottsdale website. You can either go to scottsdalesites.com, it'll take you there, or if you go to our main page, it's under our site selection and property tool navigation, I think it's called.
What other companies going in Barney's?
So Industrious is taking a portion of that, and then there's a large retailer that is going in there as well.
And then is there going to be a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods over here?
I Your best is or your guess is as best as mine. Yeah. Yep.
Thanks, Mark. Good presentation.
Oh,
Just curious, Scottsdale's celebrated a couple of our artists, Frank Lloyd Wright, of course, and Solari.
Yep.
Is there plans for a third? Be a female?
That's a good question. I actually sit on the board for Scottsdale Arts, and definitely want to make sure that we're celebrating, obviously, arts and culture, because that's a huge draw for those that are being here. There's a lot of places that, kind of have celebrated that through different parts of how to embrace, different artists and what they're doing. I don't know what the plans are moving forward as far as who will be celebrated next, but definitely can keep that in mind and bring that forward.
Just a suggestion is not so much an artist, but someone that developed a big part of our art district was Mrs. McCormick. So I'm not sure if you know the history, but we can talk more about that. But she really helped to establish, Scottsdale as a art hub. So.
Yep.
Give us an update on the Gateway. What's going on up there? Will they have a little museum there and
In the Gateway.
the hiking area, Scottsdale? They call it the Gateway.
Oh, the Desert Edge project that
Ah.
is being talked about.
Is it moving forward?
The information that's being reported is all I'd be able to kind of talk about or speculate on. Where that's at and kind of all of the different comments being made towards it, is definitely something that. Well, I don't know if on hold is the right thing, but once again, kind of your guess is as good as mine.
Mark, nice job.
Thank you.